Hello, this is Shante with Shakati Ed, and today I am going to be talking about STEM, and just different things inside the classroom. What I used today was like these books. I felt like, let me turn this way. I felt like these were, um, I say get them from the library because I think it's like it's a repetitive situation of just like repeating information. Um, the same thing with this one. I felt like it was just like a repetitive situation. I think maybe if you don't know, like if you have no clue of what the book is or what it's about, then it'll end up being like an issue about, like, it'll be like, well, maybe I should buy it. This one is like $40. I think still, even with the information that they give you, um, it's things that you'll start to learn on your own as far as like being a teacher. So one thing is Bloom's taxonomy or whatever, and that's what it just like it continuously reiterates how much it is like what it's like to question a child. So and how they learn. So that's what it is. It's just like steps of levels. So remember, what animal is this? That's just like a child's way to recall information. So the child identifies, names, counts, repeats, and then recalls. So it identifies, names, counts, repeats, recall. You see, they're just like really simple things that the child will do. Understand. So then the child is like, well, that's a cheetah. How do you know it's a cheetah? Well, it has this certain pattern or whatever. Even today, for real, maybe I needed this, but I don't know the difference between a cheetah and a I don't know, but my son does, and he's able to tell me like what the differences are, even in like alligators and crocodiles and different things like that. Caiman, I have to describe that to him. So a description, you discuss it, you explain it, you summarize. So you can just do this in the house, especially at homeschool, because and even just being at home, like just have them explain, even like different types of pasta in the kitchen, and have them do things that you know stuff about. Like, don't just always think that you have to go into their realm of school and know everything they do at school. Teach them about you too. Let them become experts at what you do and show them how you do those things. They like that stuff. Apply. So when they apply it, this is when they are able to teach you. They can dramatize, they identify with, or they relate to. So they might see a character on TV and they want to be a princess. They might see their father working under the sink and they want to help. They want to be able to handle the tools and know what the tools are. So that's the application. And anytime they can come back and teach you, that's application as well. So analyze. Children will recognize, change, experiment, infer, compare, and contrast. There's a TikTok video now where you ask your husband or spouse or whatever, or your boyfriend, like, what's changed about me, and nothing's changed about you. So it's like an analyzation, like it's just, let me see what's changed, like what's new, what's different. And it's cool when you do make changes and kids see those things. That's a really awesome thing. Like, you change your hair, you change the color of, you change your clothes or something like that. I think that's something that's really done. So when they analyze, they recognize change, they experiment again, they infer, and they compare and contrast. And even at home, like you just want to, like say for instance, we would compare two shows. I watched like the whole series. Like I think I watched most of the what are these things? Power Rangers. I watched a lot of Power Rangers. And so just watching the Power Rangers is just like, I don't know. So it's like I got a chance to compare and contrast. And one of them was when the one Power Ranger show, it just deals with like vampires and just different types of myths, like horror myths. And so then there's another show that's on Hulu that does the same thing. So it's like, again, if a child is able to recognize that, compare and contrast, and you also use that as an adult, that's some good stuff. If they start to compare and contrast themselves too, it's also a good time for you to let them know how exceptional they are. Okay, evaluate. So evaluate. Children will express opinion, judge, defend, and criticize. So evaluate, express opinion, judge, defend, and criticize. My son, ooh, now that he's a boss, wow. I need to call him Mr. Schuler, but he will not let me. That's a boss, but he does. He is involved when he needs to be involved. Um, Create, make, construct, design, and author. So create, make, construct, design, and author. My son is really good at being able to take information and change it into something else, or even compare those two things, or recall the facts. Um, to make and create, construct, design, author. To make, it's harder for him. To construct, he can do that. Design, yes, for sure. And author, he can give me the words to write down, even if he tries to write them down too. So even with students that have that issue, you just want to make them write just a little bit every day. We have to discuss it too. Like, it's like a discussion for us. Like, I'm not gonna make you do it, but let me tell you how it benefits you to do this thing. Um, I like to talk about that with the difficulties in him, because he does have like some learning difficulties sometimes. But as far as what I'm saying is like, if they are not able to create, if they're able to give you the idea and they are able to do it, as teachers we'll sit down next to that student and we'll help them write, we'll help them create, we'll help them make, and you do it with their words. You don't add anything to it. If you feel like there's a change that needs to be made, then you question them in order to make the change. And even then, don't even really question it a lot, because then it depends on how you question. Because I can say this, and some of you will question with negativity or your own thoughts or different things like that. Let them make it how they're going to make it. If they make a mistake and you put down a mistake, when you correct it and you grade it, you let them know when you graded that was the mistake. Because really all you're there to do is just be a writer. You're not there to put in your opinions, and not even a writer. You just a scripter. Like, you just start to write the words down. So don't put in your opinion. Don't make any statements about it. If they are creating, let them create. And that gets me to this point where I saw in this book, it's the ratio. So ratio is ratio Amelius or whatever. And ratio is just like an open, collaborative relationship. And they do this with like pre-K students or whatever. And this is kind of like how I like my classroom too. Not enough for me. I don't have enough for me to be able to like let them get up. I didn't have that much. I like out of control. But I like a classroom where they can get up, especially in art. And I would say the same thing I could say the same thing for music with maybe the older children, but like for art, it's a thing where you just set up a bunch of centers, or you set up a bunch of stations, and it's just like this. And usually at some kids' homes, like yeah, I am, but I'm talking about the classroom in general. So like in the classroom in general, like I set up a bunch of different stations, and then you let the kids go around and do the different stations. I did give my kids time limits at every station, and then I would have them move around the room. And they also made me, I was also a center too, so the students got a chance to work with me as one of their centers. So then that's how they got their art projects done. I found that to be very useful as a teacher, like still using centers when I was in art. Or stations when I was in art. And I put out a lot of different stations. Like I put out ones where they can sew. Some things you'll start to notice that they can't do in a pre-K kindergarten. Like they can't really sew. I also had like robots, so I had the Ozo robots or whatever. So they can like create little cities and different things like that, and let the robots roam around. I also, what else did I include in there? But anyway, radio is like where they can actually discuss with you what they want to do. And so when it got to the older students, I think I use that open policy more. Like I would give them the project, and then I let them decide on what they would want to do. And you can do this. What they're saying is you can do this in all subjects. And so I was only in Missouri for a short while as a substitute, and I saw that one teacher was starting to do this too with the older students. Like instead of giving them one choice, like just make me a PowerPoint presentation, she gave them 5 choices, so they could make a PowerPoint presentation. They could have made a video. They could have wrote it down. They you see what I'm saying? They could have painted or something. It was just like 5 different choices. And so it opens up the learning because you want to start to include all these things into the lessons. I even started with my own lesson plan with including STEAM or STEM. So STEM is science, technology, engineering, and math. And everything kind of started from there. And that was my idea too when I first was thinking about designing my school. I wanted to design my school around science because I thought that it was the most interesting thing. And also, it also has a COSMO. COSMOG. So, anyway, I'm sorry. Yes. Cosmo. Well, you can spell. You can do. Okay, you can do both of them. But Cosmoen is COSMOEN. Yep. So, anyway, yeah. So, when I was trying to design my school, which I did get this from another teacher, is like you start off with the scientific method, and I would actually just do that for everything. Like we would do that for anything, for any lesson that we would create, for any problem that we had to solve. I would always be like, we can just solve this with the scientific method. What's our hypothesis, and what's this, that, and the other. So even at home, you can do that too. What's our hypothesis? I remember I had a student over my house, and she said, what happens if we blend the cheese? It's like, I don't know, let's do it and see. Like, I've never thought about blending cheese, and I'm thinking, well, because
nowadays make slices of cheese.
No, it didn't. It made bad cheese because we put water in it.
I said slices.
Yeah, slices of cheese. I'm thinking if we put milk, and we could have, but I'm thinking that maybe she thought it would be like a melted cheese, like something that we can pour on top of something or whatever. So even with that, it's just like you can still do those things at home. You can still have an open collaboration. And like I said, it's like all you got to do is just sit down and start to discuss with them about those different things. But anyway, like I said, I was starting to, even in my art classroom, I started to think about STEAM. STEAM, which is science, technology, engineering, art, and music, or math. Actually, it's math. Then there's another STEAM, which is science, technology, engineering, art, math, and music, or you can say math and medicine. And I put it in there, like you can also just decide which one is your focus. Some more people are putting out stream where they end up putting reading there as what they do. But I don't really agree with that because reading is a part of it all. Like, you can set up the projects and different things, and they still have to read the directions. You still have to give them an intro to the story. You still got to get them fired up. So even if you start with the story, like I know I always start with the lessons from Vashti Harrison, or with the stories from Vashti Harrison. And I think I'm going to give an example of what I do as far as planning for that goes. But I would give you a science lesson. I'll give you a technology lesson. I will give you an art lesson. I will give you a what did I skip? An engineering lesson, and I will give you a math lesson. And so all that, and then sometimes even the science and the math, they might be in the same lesson. So that's how you end up with the STEAM. Coding can be your technology. If you want to think about the engineering, you want to think about buying things like Arduino. I had my son. We did little bits, like where we put I lost my little bit. So anyway, little bits is just where you put these connections together or whatever. You'll make a circuit work.
I think that I did that, and I think that I came to that place as a guest.
Yeah, but I also had them in the house. Remember, I bought the little bits.
Oh yeah, I remember.
Yeah, so and then we also made those robots. The little dinosaur robots we made.
Oh yeah.
And some of these things are really cheap to buy, like the batteries and the pager things. They are really cheap to buy. And you can make a lot of stuff. Like you can make a toothbrush bot. You can make it's so many different things you can make. So little bits is a kit you can buy. I also bought Strawbees. Strawbees can help with engineering. And Strawbees is just you buy straws and you get these things called Strawbees. The worst part of Strawbees is taking them off the little thing, but other than that, they are awesome. And then it's another kit where you can make your computer into instruments. You can make your stairs into whatever, but you'll also need copper tape. Copper tape is kind of mid-range. I think about $5. But what I'm saying is like some of this stuff that you guys can do at home is like really, it's fun. Like right now we don't have a doorbell. I wish we had our little bits kit because we can make a doorbell with the little bits kit. Like I was just probably like missing one part. So anyway, that's what I'm saying. It's like that's all this book is about. Like this book is just about coming through and being Leonardo da Vinci, but in different ways, and how you add those things to the classroom. You can even add drama and different things like that, and that just starts her with asking your kids the big questions, right? So then when you get here, you say, well, you can do this science project, but you can act it out. Like, let's do a video, or we can do this technology project, but let's make a little skit before. Let's write a script. It's so many different parts. So the reading and the writing are already in there. The language arts, when you're talking, you're also using tier 3 words. Like some of the times, like kids don't get a chance to actually get to learn tier 3 words. And what I mean by tier 3 is like tier 3 words are like scientific words, mathematic words, especially children who speak a second language at home. You cannot, and this is something else I want people to realize, Ebonics is also another language. It's like we'll listen to Caribbean people and they speak part, but Ebonics is also a language at home as well. So even with that being said, you still have to teach them tier 3 words and how to pronounce the words correctly. The same thing with tier 2 words. Tier 2 words are words that we use. They're larger than like words like our sight words. So your sight words will maybe be like a tier 1 word, but then your tier 2 words will be, again, just vocabulary. So if the teacher says some vocabulary list, and you may have daffodil or occasion or frankly or different things like that, that's your tier 2. Your tier 3 again is like just like your scientific words, your mathematic vocabulary, and these things are usually universal. And what I mean by universal is that they mean the same thing everywhere. You understand? Like it's like if we did division. So in another language, it would still probably be like the same thing. You would still take the same steps. Math is universal. Science is universal. They don't change across the board. So that's something else that you would find in these books. So that's why I said, well, why? Just get it from the library. It does talk about different types of questions. Again, the same as this book, like the things that you can ask. Are they by the same people? No, but they talk about the things that you can ask or whatever. But it's not. I don't know. I don't think it's enough to pay for. That's all I'm saying. And I don't mean it in a mean way. I'm sorry, it makes it sound so negative, but it's like, no. I mean, it's really not. It's just it's not. I think it's already gone. So even this one has the inquiry, problem solving. Now that's something else that I want to like. Problem solving is a major thing. Like some people even do problem-based learning. So problem-based learning is problem solving. You can start that in your house. This also stops children from negative thoughts. I'm telling you now, like I don't have, because sometimes it's like we'll have a problem, but we don't want to. Some people don't want to stop the problem. This is another way for you to get to know your children. Sometimes they don't want the problem to stop. They want the problem to keep going, and they don't want to tell you that they want the problem. Problem solving is like, what is the solution? So now, what is the solution? Because I'm a solution-based person. Now, if it is a problem and I'm not able to find a solution, or at that point I don't want to resolve it for myself, I'll let people, I know I'm not ready to resolve this. It's something that's still with me. And you will have things like that. But sometimes you have people, like somebody knocking on their door every day. So it's like, well, just put a sign on your door and tell them don't knock. You know what I'm saying? And the person would consistently find a way not to have the person stop knocking. So that person, what's the problem? So it's like, if I put a sign on the door to tell you do not knock, that means I don't want that trouble. You see what I'm saying? So I don't know. It's like sometimes that's the thing too. So it's like you have to like start to teach your children, and some things have to stop, especially if you are creating problems. So it's a good way. Imagination, learning from mistakes. My son is always like, Mom, I got to make the mistake in order for me to learn. Discovery, process skills. Like in math, when you're like, don't give me the answer, Mom. You got to let me learn from the mistake. It's hard to be your kid's teacher. That's why I don't want to do it.
That is true. That is true. I actually do say that.
Yes, I would rather teach the kid across the street and have a kid across the street come over. That's all I'm saying. Okay. Intuition. So intuition, it helps like build up. STEAM helps build up like a bank of problems, and then again you can solve them. So your intuition will tell you, well, this probably won't work. If I don't put these two batteries on this, if I don't put these two wires onto this battery, I cannot make a circuit connection. It's just not gonna work. You see what I'm saying? So it's like it just gives you intuition. Aptitude and passion, you start to know like what it is that you love and what you enjoy and what you like to do. And so that's why you also put all the different things out, so then that person can go to what they know and what they enjoy. You're not forcing them into a category or something that they don't want. And that was another reason I wanted to school, because it was like I don't want to keep forcing people to learn about things that they don't need to learn about, or forcing them to go further in something that is difficult for them. It's like, okay, take a break. All right. Intrinsic motivation, you start to teach the kid like it's what their self is, how their self-worth is available. That's why STEM is very important, because it's more open. Even radio, it's just like more open to discussion, and me now using my brain for myself and not having somebody else thinking for me or somebody else take action for me. I now start to take action for myself. I can even now start to slow down and tell you the processes of how I'm thinking about this. Okay, need for expression. Like I told you, I grew up in a strict home. Oh, down on this channel. Well, anyway, I grew up in a strict home, and so I was like I love education. I'm like really curious. I was also in honors classes, all these different things. But I didn't have the same treatment at home. And at home, I couldn't talk. At home, I couldn't ask for certain things. At home, I couldn't do these. It was always a struggle. And it wasn't really a struggle. It's just, that's the way that my mom wanted to seem. So anyway, it's just like, it's another way for you to express yourself. It's another way for the child to be able to get out into the world and get those ideas and different things out of their heads, okay? There are some similar approaches. So, discover beauty and organization in the world. Another place is unity of nature, design, and knowledge. You can connections through history, beauty, and its relationship to science. And science is beautiful. Science is art. Also, design. You have other topics like nature, use of media and technology, classroom. That's it. So anyway, that's all I was looking at. It's just like how we can use STEAM or STEAM or STEM or whatever. And like I do include medicine, because I teach my son about not all about Ayurveda, but I teach him about natural ways to heal himself, like as far as like pimples on his skin, eczema. I even make these things at home. I make deodorant. I make anything I can. And
none of them even sell at all.
I know, but we'll get them to sell. But anyway, it's just like a lavender for headaches. Roses can help with making like good washes and different things like that. Soaps, rose water can help with making soaps and all that different stuff. It's just so many different ways. Jojoba oil, argan oil. If something happens, like go out in the sun, especially if the sun is available, especially headaches, any kind of, if you have to go to the bathroom, like if you have like a stomach ache, the sun will actually help you. Go to the bathroom, go outside, you will feel so much better. It's just so many different ways that nature heals you, and even your own body will heal you. I even teach him about the vagina and all those different things. His penis. We talk about puberty. We talk about all these different things just because he asked those questions. We also talk about sex. So even with that STEAM, string, whatever, however you want to put it inside of your house, if you need to put up signs, if you need to do anything, Bloom's Taxonomy, just remember that the major thing is to make your child evolve, is for them to create, them to make up something, them to come up with an idea, no matter how silly or whatever it is. I remember my stupidest question probably that somebody thought was, I used to always ask him, and y'all, I used to wonder this all the time. My question was, who started the traffic in the morning? And I know they would probably be like, "What the hell?" It's like in my mind, I just thought one car got out in the morning and just like drove around everywhere. And you know, yeah, I did. I actually thought that. And I'm talking about, I thought it for a long time. And they would just be like, "What?" I asked all my parents. I know I asked all four of them. Who starts traffic in the morning? You know, and they're just like, you just get out and drive. You know, it made no sense to me because in my mind I was still thinking it's two cars. I even started playing with my fingers like two cars go this way, two cars. You know, it's like, oh my god. So all I'm saying is like it could be like the craziest question. If I really tell you guys about the things that I did not understand and then the things I did understand, you will understand why it's important for me to let you know that all children are smart. Like, you know, and then for people to conclude, yes, you are very intelligent. So it's just like it's always about that cartoon where it's like a fish out of water. You know, so if the child is, if that's not their focus, they won't know. And so we might conclude that this child is dumb, stupid, whatever, and the child could totally be a brilliant person. You know, they just trying to get they are questioning what's in their life in order for them to be able to use that information to build something better. So that's why I want to go over this. But yeah, like I said, if you are curious about the books, here they go. They are on my Amazon list, which I am linking below. And be sure, like, I'm serious. Like, if you're curious, again, just read them. But again, it's just like the same information given over and over again. I also linked the Regio. What else? I also linked the Blues taxonomy, and I think and I'm also putting some information about the different types of STEM or whatever. And again, make it about your life at home. You don't have to like go out and try to research more stuff or anything like that. You already have the means and the tools or whatever for what you need. There is science in the kitchen. You know, there is science in the kitchen. And all these things include art. So anyway, thank you so much. This is Shantae with Shaketi Ed. You have a good day. Thank you very much.